And welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe and, of course, our Director of Communication and Events, Jennifer Clemens. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. It's different to sit on the side of the table.
Yeah, and you're not leaving anything to chance with your computer up to screen some of those questions for yourself. I see how this is.
For sure. I know how to play this.
Well, there's a lot of things that fall under communication and events, but we all know last week we had the State of the City, and there was a portion of it that everybody looks forward to that we were not able to share. Who's performing at the Tomato Festival? It's been a couple of days. Any updates?
Well, there are no official updates at this time.
Yeah. Do you notice how she said official?
So we know who we want to have at the Tomato Festival, and
Yeah.
we are fingers crossed, and we are getting really close to having those contracts signed. So I'm excited for when we are going to get to announce it. We've been really lucky and just great entertainment to bring to the Tomato Festival, and so I'm excited to launch that. Just we need to get people to confirm. And
Are you more excited about the fact that it's going to be confirmed and we can eventually release it, or the fact that I won't ask you every day if we got a confirmation yet?
I'm going to lean into the latter half of that question.
So it doesn't feel like summer today, but we had a couple of brief moments of spring weather. So what are you most looking forward to this summer as far as events?
Well, summer is our busiest season. We've got the Food Truck Fridays, concerts on the lawn, Juneteenth, Pride, 4th of July, fireworks, and of course the Tomato Festival. And as that continues to grow, that's something we look forward to. I still can't believe we hit 41,000 people last year. It's pretty incredible. And but I kind of feel like this year I'm really excited about the fireworks, with it being America 250. And I always say that Reynoldsburg, we have one of the greatest firework displays around in any suburban community. And so I'm really excited to see what the show's going to look like this year. I don't know whether to say that out loud because I know they've been preparing for a couple years for more. Everybody's going to do more this year, so I hope they don't run out of fireworks.
As long as they don't run out of our fireworks.
But I know, I had a note in here to kind of talk about, while I'm looking for that, there's some events that we're not doing this year. Mm-hmm. Should we talk about it?
As long as, could you get you some Kleenex?
I know.
In case you have to blow your nose.
I know. It's going to be hard. But I do think it warrants a discussion with, I hope people hear that, we're not having farmers market this year. That's going to be something that is, I've made a lot of friendships that will continue to last a lifetime and impressed upon me. Just those relationships that we've built. So that is something that is really heartbreaking to me that we're not going to do it. But we're doing it for good reason. It's not really hitting the mark with what the residents are looking for. We can create a great event, but we need something that is attracting residents too. They love to come listen to music. They love to listen out, be outside, grab something at the food truck, but they're just not shopping. And I know that everybody's saying there's no produce at the farmers market. How many times have we heard that?
A couple times.
But there isn't, there's so many markets that were on Thursday that we were just, that is an industry where you're not seeing as many farmers getting out in farmers markets and participating. And we were competing. There was 4 local, big, huge markets on Thursday. And when we weren't getting that foot traffic, we just continued to lose vendors. And so I think just taking a pause, looking to see what some development might bring to Reynoldsburg over the next year or so. And I'm excited we're going to do another community survey. So looking into really listening to what residents would like to see in addition to what we already have planned. And again, we're not doing the artisan makers market this season. And there again, it was just we couldn't get the foot traffic that event. And while I love it, it's a lot of work for those vendors to set up and be there all day and just not have the number of people attending. And so I think just taking a step back, we talked about doing maybe some pop-up markets and trying to fill that gap, just so we have a little bit of that here in the city. But we'll see how that pans out for this year.
Well, we'll see. I know that I think a lot of people are going to be surprised, disappointed, but not completely unexpected about the farmers market, because I think a lot of things that you hit on, it's a catch-22. You want to have ample parking. Yeah. But there's nowhere on Main Street to have ample parking, so you have to, if you have parking as a consideration, it's got to be at JFK. But if you put it to JFK, there's a visibility issue because not everybody sees it. And so it's a combination of the two. And, I think if you asked most of the vendors last year, it depended on that particular day and how well things were going about whether they thought the Main Street location was better or the JFK location, or for that matter, even Huber Park. So,
we did have a lot of homes.
Yeah.
and a lot of obstacles to overcome. But we had some loyal vendors that had stayed with us for several years. And when I got brought into this position, I was managing, the farmers market and the tomato festival. That's where we started, and we've come a long way since those days.
And the farmers market, or not the artisan makers market, was always fun. It's a great location at the Livingston House. There is parking, there is availability there. It's just, again, it's a question of making sure everybody understands. While a lot of people travel on that, not everybody knew about it, and that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But for everything else that we're doing, I know that at one point in time you were a department of one. Now you've kind of grown somewhat. And
so exciting.
We always have staff that help out, from the street department, from the Parks and Recs department, City Hall, all of that stuff. But this year we're going to do a little bit more because we want to make sure that we provide as best as service as we can. And so if anybody else actually wanted to help work the events, but actually get paid for it, not just the volunteers. And we love the volunteers, and don't worry, we still appreciate you.
Don't do that to my volunteers. I love our volunteers.
But for everybody else, what are you thinking about doing?
So I'm excited. Like, we couldn't do the events that we have without the support of everybody here at City Hall. They have really helped us grow these events to where they are. But having some dedicated, we're calling them a seasonal event staff. And they will be able to help us with vendor setup, working logistics with us, working to help, with greeting residents and help navigating some of that, and just really getting a fun behind the scene looks at what it is to run a festival or an event. And so that posting will go up March 16th. So it's a great opportunity for college students. I think anybody looking for some part-time work in the summer. There'll be opportunities outside of the year, but our heaviest need will be through the June, July, and August. So looking forward to that.
Do they get their own cowboy hat, or is that not part of the uniform? Or is that more
Can
for the
we make it part of the uniform?
I mean, it's your thing. I just was curious.
Well,
that may impact how many people apply.
I'm going to say no.
Well, I mean, a funny story is, I don't know, do you even know why the cowboy hat became a thing?
I know why, but go ahead and share, because not everybody
So
does.
it was the first tomato festival that we had put on as a city, and one of the someone from the recreation department said, we need to put a balloon on you so we can find you, because being 5 foot tall and being in a sea of people, everybody was like, where's Jennifer? Where's Jennifer? Nobody could find me. And so while I love any hat, the cowboy hat was just something that was very distinct that you didn't see a ton of people in. So it's kind of become my trademark. And everybody's like, if they've got a question, they're like, go find the girl in the cowboy hat. So
the cowboy hat that comes with what?
Oh, the no rain boots.
They're not 100% guaranteed, but more often than not.
Oh yeah, I have been threatened if I don't put those boots on. And many of farmers markets, and you will see me put those on and walk the event grounds trying to keep the storm away. Yeah. So I believe in the power of them, and so should you.
It's always there. Now, there's always a lot of obstacles that come up when you're doing events in general, internally. But for the most part, what's the biggest thing? What do you have to overcome to get the word out to everybody else in the city about some of our events? Tomato Fest, I think a lot of people know, but believe it or not, every year there's always somebody that said, I didn't know the Tomato Festival was this weekend. Some people say, I've never heard of the Tomato Festival. I don't get that one, but there's other events that we do have that I understand. Like, some people aren't always familiar with Concert on the Lawn. So what's the biggest obstacle in this?
I think there's just so many platforms that people are receiving information from, and that is, it spans a wide, age range, where you've got young adults who are really driven through social media. We still have people that really lean into the website. People who like email updates, and a lot of it is even just word of mouth. Like, still people get information that way. So it is a difficult task to make sure that we're providing, information across all those platforms. And I'm really excited we just had another training this morning about, we're getting ready to roll out a mass communication system for emergency and non-emergencies. And so I'm hoping that with that, bringing it out to the public, it'll streamline with our website, and we can, our park system will be able to use that if there's a lightning delay or if there's a closure, and just really be able to have one tool that we can get a lot of information that we can start to, navigate residents to sign up. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be posting some things online, on social media, get some literature out. I think in our water bills we were talking about, so that we'll have that system available. So fingers crossed, Jasmine and I are working really hard on that to get that streamlined, and that'll be coming later this year. So I'm really excited about that. Just one more tool in the toolbox.
Yep.
There's so many things that we have going on. And
I don't think you can ever over communicate.
no. And I really hope with this that we really see more engagement with our residents, because I do think there are so many cool things that are happening in the city, or just information that they're missing, because they don't know where to get it. And so I'm hoping that really we can see some more engagement through those tools.
So do you have a favorite event?
Dare I say what my favorite event is? You always ask everybody this question. I think all of our events, they have their own personality. So each of them are special to me in different ways. I would be remiss if I didn't say, the Tomato Festival is just such a long-standing event in our community. It's multi-generational, and I love because it brings our whole community together. And the stories that you hear about, when I came here when I was a kid, and we did some historic boards last year, and people were looking for their photos in those, which was really cool. And I found out, it was really neat. I was doing some research the other day, and I don't know if you know this, but outside of the Ohio State Fair, the Tomato Festival with the Comfest and Schmidt's Oktoberfest is one of the longest running festivals in Central Ohio. And so I think that's really cool.
That is, yeah.
And I didn't know that fact either, but that was really neat to read. But I do love the Diwali Festival.
Yeah.
To watch that festival where it has grown, it's just so beautiful. The way the community comes together, like learning about the culture, the relationships, like the residents of what they have put into, it has been such a great partnership to work with our residents, our local businesses who have stepped up to sponsor that event, and to watch it grow from 1,000 people, some odd thousand people the first time we had
10,000.
to we were looking at 13,000 people coming together in one day at a park, and it's beautiful. I always walk away from that event just in awe of.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from, I'm not letting you read. Do we have any questions that have been submitted?
We do have a few relating to construction projects.
All right, we'll hold on to those.
Yes.
All right, so I have a couple questions that have been submitted to me. Not sure exactly where they came from. First of all, did you put your yogurt in the refrigerator today?
It may still be in my purse.
Okay. The Tomato Festival has always had a watchtower. Is there going to be a watchtower this year? And if so, who's going to provide that?
Well, I think maybe we should do rock, paper, scissors to see who is going to watch the watchtower this year.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to have that role one year.
What's the record for how many times you've heard Jennifer on the radio during events?
Ooh, gosh. I don't even know if the clicker goes that high.
It just kind of repeats.
It just goes on repeat.
This was an interesting one that was submitted. If you were a mayor for a day, what would you do?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's see. If I got to be mayor for the day, what would I do? Well, there definitely would be music involved in something. Maybe a fun event. Oh, I would like to have my Green Day, perform here at the community cleanup. So maybe we could get that rolling.
Well, I appreciate. Thanks for all those that submitted those particular questions. We'll kind of come back and maybe something else will pop up. I know you have nowhere else to go, so you're going to sit here.
I'm just going to sit here and enjoy sitting on this side of the camera.
All right. So a couple of things have come up. First of all, let's talk about code enforcement. We are no longer doing the No Mow May. No Mow May is no longer in fashion. Franklin County Soil and Water and a few other agencies have said, yeah, that worked in the past, but they've come up with some other things. So we're going to actually only do pollinator gardens this year. And we're going to do an informational program on March 28th with a number of different entities that are going to come in and tell you how to actually do a pollinator garden / yard, things like that. Code enforcement will be there, so they will actually know that you do indeed have a pollinator garden and not just that you didn't want to do any yard work for a season or something like that. So that will be there. This weekend we do have if you want to put that up there, the Reynoldsburg Get Behind the Badge function for Officer Nichols. This is going to be a fundraiser at Kingy's Pizza in Canal Winchester, just off 33, from 12 to 3 p.m. There's going to be a cost of admission that gets you pizza and pop and things like that. You'll also have a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, and other items that will be donated in partnership with Get Behind the Badge. So if you can make it out this Sunday to Kingy's in Canal Winchester, please go ahead and do so. Now, we'll start with road construction updates. Wagner Road construction update. As the weather is getting a little bit warmer, you're going to start seeing crews coming back out, probably sometime maybe mid to late next week, and they will start working on installing street lights, the traffic signal at Priestley and Wagner, and also when it gets a little bit more consistent, you'll probably also see some sidewalk works. The sidewalks will be put in as well. Asphalt will happen once the asphalt production facilities open up. They are scheduled to open up in mid-May, or I'm sorry, mid-April. However, if we're getting 70-degree temperatures pretty consistently from here on out, they may actually be able to open those a little bit early. We're relatively early on that particular list. Was there a question about Wagner Road in the questions? Or the other ones?
Not about Wagner, no.
All right, so I'll go through the other ones. Taylor Road, for those of you that live on Taylor Road, the AEP had done some work where they basically carved out a big hole in the ground all the way from the AEP substation almost all the way to Broad Street. They're going to come back and start finishing that project off, and then they will go ahead and put in brand new pavement in that area. They're looking at probably late April, early May to put all the asphalt in, again, weather depending, but they are looking to get that particular portion done. So a little bit of paving will go in there. Taylor Road will not be a hard pave just because it's, I don't want to say it's not simple, but it's not the same thing. Like Wagner Road is going to take some time. We've heard estimates again. If we have 5 straight days of good weather and no issues, then they should be able to get all of Wagner done in a week. So in an actual business week. So that'll be something is there as well. Those are the 2 construction pieces. What do you have? Anything specific?
We have, are any upgrades being considered for Memorial Plaza in 2026?
As of right now, there's nothing being planned for it. We're looking at trying to devote some of the resources over to the Moyer Park area. But if you have some suggestions for what's over there, please let us know.
And then we have, when the municipal building construction is completed and staff and equipment make the move, what happens to the current property beside the creek in Old Reynoldsburg?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you actually asked that. Well, first, we're going to have to do some cleanup in the area and demo the building and make sure that everything is clean and kind of restored to it. But we are looking to turn it into park space. Ultimately, what we would like to do is have some sort of a pedestrian bridge in that area to kind of go into Huber Park. That's what it's designed for. So that's what we're looking to do in that particular area. Anything we can do to try and expand some green space in that area would be a good thing.
That's it.
All right. So we've got some other fun things going on as well. It is that time of the year in the spring, so we have the Easter Bunny Breakfast on March 28th. Make sure you register and take care of that. Same day, right after that, from 12 to 12:02 is the Lions Club Easter Egg Hunt. And that will be right out there. Get there early. Parking is always competitive in that area, so it's that sweet spot of when the Easter Bunny breakfast is over, but before the actual Easter egg hunt begins. We also have Plant Reynoldsburg, and it was bouncing around to a couple of locations, but now we know for sure until it's changed again. Plant Reynoldsburg is going to actually, again, be here at City Hall. It'll be May 16th from 9 to 12. Everybody can come. You get a stylish t-shirt, which is always good because I have a collection of them now. But you can go and you can plant in the areas that are there, which is always fun. It helps beautify everything. It is going to be a red, white, and blue themed, so you'll probably see some outlines and things like that. And then I think on May 17th and 18th will be Replant Reynoldsburg Day, where staff will come in and fix all of my mistakes. So we've got that going on.
There is that.
Yeah, there is that part of it. Really don't have anything too much to update for development. If you were able to watch the State of the City last week, really went into development there, as well as in the last week's show. Rep Fieldhouse is looking to get moving. Hopefully we'll get them under construction sometime this summer. The warehouse facilities and other commercial endeavors over on Taylor Road are getting ready to get started. The affordable housing project will hopefully get started, like I say, late spring, early summer as well. So it's going to be a busy construction project from development purposes. We do know that there is going to be a photography studio in the Trivium space. They were up there yesterday actually working, getting some things scaled out. And we are going to welcome 2 new businesses to our Old Town area. The first one is, Defined, which is the salon. And then we also have the candle shop that is there as well. The candle shop, we're going to do the major opening a little bit later when it's warmer. But Defined, the salon, I think we're going to give them a grand opening
We should
next
go
week.
make candles one day for the Joe Show.
We
I've been
could
seeing
indeed.
a lot of people post on that on social media about that, and I just wanted to follow up with you. The Say the City, you were talking about those things. There's some great photos, and we'll have that on our YouTube channel probably by tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's a great opportunity to check that. I mean, some of the pictures and the renderings of the Rep Fieldhouse are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're a lot of things excited. We talked about the Alliance getting ready to open up in September. That's where they're geared to. And then moving from there, other restaurants and retail in that location. So a lot of good things coming up. As far as other fun things going on, we talked about that. YMCA has the Healthy Kids Day from 1 to 4 p.m. With lots of activities on April 18th. They're hoping that it is warmer weather this time. I think last time it was down in the 40s, and that was after everybody kind of got used to like warm temperatures. Then we had a cold spell, so it felt colder than it actually was. Did want to put this on everybody's radar. Raiderthon. We do have a save the date for Raiderthon. That'll be at the Summit Row campus in April. And of course, that's the one thing that I didn't write down about saving the date. But that'll be out there. Litter cleanup. For everybody that wants to, whether you're family, whether you're an individual or an organization, if you want to go ahead and pick a road in Reynoldsburg to go ahead and start doing some litter cleanup, that is going to go ahead and get started. Usually the Lions Club, I think, takes Taylor Road. The Reynoldsburg Area Democrats take Lancaster. And then I know the Boy Scouts at times have done the Livingston. But there are other roads. You don't have to do one of the really long roads. You can do a smaller one, but it'll be there. One thing I did want to bring up is I'm not sure people want to or me to continue or not to continue the kind of the walk and talk version of everything with the mayor. There are times where we had really good turnout, and then times
some
that
really
we
good attendance,
had
some of them.
no one there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. If you think that that's something that we can continue to do, just let us know in the chat. That'll be something that we'll kind of look at as the weather gets a little bit warmer. And then, of course, we obviously have America 250. We were looking at some T-shirt designs earlier. We're still waiting for some things to come back from the school district and stuff like that. So always a little bit of fun stuff. But, this is National Women's History Month, so we are going to celebrate. That's one of the reasons why Jennifer is here, but mostly it's because I could ask her questions about her hat and boots and things like that. So those are certain things. I know there was one other question here.
Oh, no.
Do your kids know who your favorite child is, and if so, how?
Ooh. Well, I would hope that if you asked my kids who their favorite was, that each of them would say them.
Would they, though?
I think they
Possibly.
would.
Yeah.
I know for sure Faith would say that she's the favorite, but I hope that they all would because, I've got the best kids. I really do. And being their mom has just been such a joy for me. And we all have, while they definitely have a part of me in them, they're also different. That's what, having 4 kids, you raise them the same. Well, I definitely parent different than I did from the first one to the 4th one. That definitely has changed, as you would hear in family dinner conversation. But I love all of them in just their own special way. And
Did you let them know you were on the show today?
And I did not. I'm going to clue them in if I would have been prepared for that question. But, we were talking about International Women's Month. We have an event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I can't remember the date. Is it
7? It's a 7.
We'll have to get that posted.
the
We'll
7th.
get that the 7th. So that's really exciting. And it was neat to, thank you for having me on during this time. And it gave me a moment because I'm like, why did he pick me to be on during this week? But I think it was just a kind of a gentle reminder of like how we need to be encouraging each other and encouraging women together. I was thinking a lot about, the Olympics. Like we had 12 gold medals, and I think 8 of them were won by women. And I think working here, one of the things that I lean into a lot is like how in Reynoldsburg we've had so many women, whether just some of the women we have here working at city leading departments, running programs, volunteering, but the women who've really stepped up to serve in the political arena and stepped out of that comfort zone of there's just so many, whether it be township trustees, city offices, city council, school board members. It's just really cool to see how many women in Reynoldsburg are stepping into that arena. So it gave me a moment to say, I need to be more encouraging this month, and it was a great reminder. So thank you for putting that in my space and continue to encourage us younger generations to see how they can serve in this community. It's exciting to think about that because it's not always something you see these month things, but it gave me a moment to kind of reflect in that space. So thank you.
I'm going to take credit for that and say that that's why I did it, as opposed to just messing with you on camera. But we're going to go with your version of it more so. No, there were specific reasons for that. I'm glad you got that.
Speaking of uplifting and encouraging women, someone wants to know if there will be any special amenities for women, specifically breastfeeding moms, at the Tomato Festival.
Well, we are working on each year, I think at the Tomato Festival, we find ways to be a little bit more inclusive at that event and just bringing different things, amenities to the festival. We work very closely with Jessica to have the sensory time at the Tomato Festival. We brought in the water bottle refill station, which was a nice thing. We're going to look at one of the things that impressed upon me, and this was at the 4th of July, the fireworks last year, was there was a young girl there who her phone died, and that was the only way she could communicate with her ride. And she was charging. We had like a little battery pack that I was trying to charge her phone for her. So looking at having some charging stations at the Tomato Festival and some of those larger events, which great sponsorship opportunities, but a need to facilitate there. But we also noticed that, you know, we had a staff member who was a nursing mother, and there was no place for her to go. And so we're really looking at providing a Milk Space is one of the companies that we have found that provides a designated area. We used to have a church that would set up tents and stuff like that, but it's hot in August and there were tents and there was hot in there. And so really kind of creating an inclusive, like just a dedicated space to recognize the need for it. You know, when you're coming, like I said, we talk about the multi-generational families that are coming, and a mother who's got young kids and she's got a, you know, nurse, and this allows her to be able to stay at the festival, work with her, you know, her family can stay and not have to run or leave to go back to her car or use a public, you know, restroom facility. And so we're very hopeful to gain some sponsorship to add that to the Tomato Festival this year. So
that's a good question.
Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's one thing that sometimes we, you know, like when we started to add sign language interpreters for State of the City, and we looking at closed caption and doing some of the things we've done with language is we're trying as best as we can to get a lot of that stuff online. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, so it's good when community members suggest that, so that's always a good thing.
We had a question come in about the splash pad. Where's the splash pad going to be?
You're
located?
cheating. You're supposed to have somebody who's
I couldn't help it. It's happening.
So yeah, splash pad is actually planned for what we're going to figure out what we're going to call. But for right now, we're kind of designating it Moyer Park. That's the area where the automotive store used to be, right on Main Street, right by Lancaster, and that would be by the Brown House and the Animal Veterinary Hospital. But the idea is that as a couple of properties get underway, specifically the Red Field House and the affordable housing, that we're going to cobble together those funds to begin that process with that park, and that's where that splash pad would go. I know that there were some people that are like, oh, I don't want one. It's not going to be whatever they had in Columbus where it broke down every 20 minutes. It's just going to be a very Easton-like kind of splash pad where water gets moved up and down and things like that. But we wanted something that would be, one, a little bit of an amenity, two, that's free for everybody, and also for when people go to the various restaurants or boutique shopping, that when the kids want to go and actually just really kind of get all wet before they get back in the car. This is our opportunity to do that for you, so you can do that. So you'll have to
spread
make
a
some
little
towels.
joy.
We'll have to come up with some towel branding or something like that for it. But those are the things that'll be there because we're trying to do that. Ultimately, we'd like to have another splash pad at Civic Park, but that's a few years further down the road. But definitely the one right in Old Town is something that we're working on.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I'll be quiet.
All right, so again, we're going to go ahead and continue our celebration of National Women's History Month. And next week, we are going to have on for the first time, and I'm actually very excited about this. Yamuna Adhikari is going to come here. She is our community liaison from the Nepali community that works with our police department, our courts, and is instrumental in doing a lot of things to help kind of bridge the gap culturally and language-wise within our community in all sorts of ways. So I'm very excited for her to be here. I know she is probably as enthusiastic as anybody about coming onto the show as well. So I hope you will join us next week. It's going to be a great thing. As always, a lot of things going on. We'll have the stuff out for the State of the City in the not too distant future, so you can check that out with all the pretty pictures and things like that. But you know, actually, somebody called and you know I had met somebody for breakfast today because they wanted to have a conversation about all the things going on in the city. So we had an opportunity to sit down and talk for about 40 minutes or so. So that was always a good thing. I think the more that we get to engage and have those conversations, the better. And it's not that I don't like going to different parts of Reynoldsburg and picking up trash, but it's lonely if it's just me. So that's why I want to make sure if we do this that you know somebody's going to be there. So, well, thank you very much, everybody. Again, stay safe, stay respectful, stay dry over the next couple of days, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. And as soon as we know the Tomato Festival musical guests,
I'll let you know.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.